camera. I didn't even use it.
Oh, you dancing, huh?
Yeah, bring it on to
I
us.
didn't even use it.
Oh yeah, this is a common camera that's used by people who do YouTube videos. Yeah.
Oh, that's what you bought it, right?
What's it called?
Because it's a Canon. It's a was it L55?
What's the name?
S55?
He said a common camera.
It's a very common camera because you go online and you watch the videos. Here you go. Everybody never seen it.
Common camera.
The EFS 1855.
You ever heard of that?
No.
Common? What you talking
That
about?
is a go online and that's a common camera.
No, this is good.
Because you look powerful.
Yeah, we want all that.
Yeah, plus that's a beautiful background.
It's a sword. Oh, they gonna sit there.
Oh, okay, y'all sitting there.
I mean, if you don't want to.
You can come now, come direct to this.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta
We
do that.
need
We
some
play
help.
too much. No pants, no mind.
Oh, look, I'm gonna move my lotion.
You should.
You got the good luck to cocoa butter. So put that
You come check our
Check
check our camera for us first.
Oh, should I just
Come
put it
check
on
our
there?
camera, be on
I
camera
sure
one.
will. I sure will.
Yeah, make sure we all together.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a mic right here. He loud.
You wanna get
so
you a,
we gonna have it on us.
You gonna get you a
somewhere.
place
Yeah, I'm
on
just
here or
gonna pick
something?
me up in this whole
Yeah, it's
thing.
gonna pick up
Okay,
good.
okay.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be right here.
All right, I hope I look okay.
You
Okay.
look amazing.
Oh,
Another
thank
little
you.
tweet.
Thank you.
Y'all, can you see us? We good? Is it recording?
Yep, it's recorded.
All right. So just run on whenever you're ready.
Okay.
We usually do this, take about 10 minutes.
The lighting
Oh,
look
no, I
good
got it
too.
already
That look like
dissected.
that look like right there doing all
Stop people
that.
from
Yeah,
touching
and
it.
then these.
That's actually nice.
Yeah, that looks good. Ain't no dark shadows or nothing.
What?
Yeah.
We're trying to
Ghetto, don't
edit it
say
real
that.
good. So
Huh?
once it's edited and all that, you'll be able to see how we
Yeah.
do it.
Don't
So
say
it ain't
that.
ghetto.
So it ain't. We
Yeah.
like it a little ghetto. We have to. She don't have a shadow on her behind her. It should be a small shadow. You can't see it.
Man, what?
Oh, y'all see it now, right there,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I went to YouTube for this.
We
Yeah.
got some up to
Yeah, a little
I got
bit.
12
Yeah.
hours on the course.
12 hours.
Yep, there it is, right there. Yep.
And then his shadow
Is this
should be
in the-
right there.
You think I should turn on?
Oh yeah, you can move it. Just
Is it in the way you think?
Would you like for me to move that for you?
oh no, it's not heavy. I don't think she. Well, I'm not gonna. I was getting smart. I'm not gonna say it.
This your show.
It's
You wanna
empty.
be smart,
It's
it's your
empty.
show.
You ain't-
Yeah.
They ain't put nothing in there. She can do what I was gonna say. She ain't put nothing in there.
That's all
You
it
knew
is.
I was gonna say that one. I had to control my mouth because I could get smart.
It's all good. It's all good. You straight? It's all good.
Yep, you
You can get
good.
as smart as you want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, you
And I'm just gonna be on the side. You like, mm-hmm. Do you want me to say your first name?
It
Because you
doesn't
are the
matter.
superintendent. I don't want to pronounce it.
Genera.
Genera.
Yeah,
Got it.
Genera.
Put it on here so I can say it right.
Yeah, Genera. The V is silent. I do not know why. Yeah, because you know, at a certain age, you know, there's this group of parents that you didn't ask questions,
For sure.
and that's my parents.
We were raised by those parents.
You went to school.
Those kids, yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
we
ask
were raised by it. They
questions.
taught us that.
You're like,
Just
okay.
live.
Oh, my name is Genera. Okay.
I think you just started the show. You just started the show.
Oh, no, we good.
It's gonna pick them up. It's gonna be hard to because we don't have it.
They on the show.
You know, y'all, we can hear y'all talking, right?
We can't talk.
God bless your hearts. God bless your hearts. All this gonna be on this. If y'all wanna come on in here.
You
I'm
might
like,
as
y'all might
well.
want to pull up the chair. Come on in.
Welcome back to the All In Show.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here you go. I am your boy Hollywood Harwell. As always, I have with us Bro Dusty.
Yeah.
What's going on, my
What's
man?
happening, people? How y'all doing? What's going
Good,
on?
man. I think you brought us a special guest today.
Man, I tried to, man. Try to bring out the people.
All
the
right.
People of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta
Yeah.
bring the top out now.
When I told people that we were gonna have the superintendent of Kankakee on the show, they told me I was lying.
Yeah, they thought we was
Really?
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
I've known both of you all.
Forever.
You have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since you are babies.
I feel like such a long time ago.
I know. We here.
You know what? You so well known. I think you should introduce yourself.
Okay.
If you want to look at the camera and
Or
Say it.
not. Or not.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm Genevra Walters. I'm the superintendent of Kankakee School District 111.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
that's our hype man too.
Yeah.
Not only is he the
Yeah.
star.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's major. Superintendent.
Yep, superintendent. That's a
beautiful.
blessing. A blessing.
How long have you been the superintendent?
It's been 8 years.
Okay.
8 years.
Very nice. Very nice.
Here in Kankakee, 8 years.
So you were superintendent before?
In Chicago Heights at a special ed district.
Okay. Okay. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't mind, can you give us your background? Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in Kankakee on
Okay.
Dearborn, on North Side.
North side. North side.
On the other side of the tracks.
On the other side of the tracks. Yeah, literally on the other side of the tracks, because 500 block of North Dearborn.
Right.
Like
right.
literally right there on the tracks.
Okay. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
right
right.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 6 of us, and my father was called Red. He owned a tavern on Birch Street, and then my mother was Melinda, and she did hair. And then there was 6 kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So I asked you, what gave you the desire to be a superintendent?
I never wanted to be a superintendent. That was not my interest. And it's funny because the reason I didn't want to do it is because of politics.
Yeah.
And I still don't like the politics. But I remember when I was in the 1st grade, and I know that sounds crazy, but my sister couldn't read. Like, she has a disability, and no matter what my mother did, she just couldn't, grasp the words. Like, she'd know them one day, and the next day she would know it. And so I was really sensitive to the fact that she was struggling.
Right.
And so then I started doing her homework for her. So she was older than me, and I started doing her homework. And one day her teacher came down to my classroom, and I didn't even know we went to the same school. Like, I had no idea. We rode different buses. We went to the same school, had no idea. And the teacher told me stop doing her homework. So I think that's the first time that I actually paid attention to the fact that everybody doesn't learn the same way.
Right.
And I felt like the teacher didn't understand what we went through at home. And I felt like that was insensitive. Now, I felt like that was insensitive for her to come and tell me at 5 or 6 years old not to help my sister.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a big impact that your family, what you went through with family, actually got you into teaching. And is that where you started as a teacher?
Well, I wanted to be I went to UIC to be an English teacher, but I didn't really want to be an English teacher. I really wanted to be a counselor. But someone here in Kankakee told me you have to be a teacher before you can be a counselor. So I believed them, and I went to school to be a teacher. But then I don't know who told me about school social work, because I didn't know we had school social workers.
Right.
And so I switched to school social work, and I became a school social worker.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
That's deep. That's major.
So what exactly does a superintendent do?
So, like, really, we're just the idea, like the vision. Like, we say we want to renovate the high school.
Okay.
And we're going to figure out how do we align those resources and get the money for it. And then we pass on the idea and the resources to someone else, and then they implement. So we really just create the ideas, create the vision, decide what direction we're going to go in, and then we actually manage everyone else to do the actual work.
Got it. So who all reports to the superintendent?
So actually, I only have 3 people that report, or 4 people that report directly to me. My assistant superintendent of instruction, my assistant superintendent of HR, my assistant superintendent of business and finance, and my secretary. Like, that's all. That's the only people that report to me.
So you have 4 people who report to you.
Yes.
And the rest of the school district
report to them.
Reports to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this guy's so nice.
Oh,
That makes
God.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. When it's done right, it's actually nice, but isn't we're human, and it's not always done right.
Yeah.
Are there certain requirements that are needed to become a superintendent?
So you only need a master's degree and a license to be a superintendent. I do have a doctorate, but the reason I have a doctorate is because I wanted to go into special ed and teach teachers how to teach teach teachers how to work with kids. So that's
Right.
that's the reason I had a doctorate. I have a doctorate in special education.
That's a big statement. Can you say that again, please?
I wanted to teach teachers how to teach kids.
The only reason see, he messed me all up. I can't even give words. The only reason that I asked you that is that's powerful to hear.
That is.
Yes.
That's accountability.
Yeah.
You just said, from somebody who has the lesson to pass it on.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to, because I felt like teachers weren't really equipped to deal with the social side of kids. Like they learn how to teach them math and reading, but there's more to kids than math, reading, and math, and writing. So I wanted to teach. I wanted to actually go into the university and teach teachers how to really work with kids.
That's beautiful.
So, but then it didn't work out that way. I ended up becoming an administrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did you take any steps from the social work with the school? Did you take any steps before you became a superintendent?
I became an assistant principal at Kankakee High School.
Okay.
And
What
then
years?
It was 99, 2000.
Okay.
Shout out
So were you all there?
No, that was a little
It was
little bit before me.
Yeah.
03 is the best class. We fight about this
you was
a lot.
right behind Shayna.
Yeah,
like right behind Shayna.
Well, I'm actually a year older than her.
Oh no, right in front of Shayna.
Yeah, she's 04.
Yeah, see,
I
that's that
believe.
math.
Shout out to Shayna.
Ah.
Don't beat me up.
05, though, for
You're
sure.
05?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were behind her.
Yeah, we was
Okay,
behind her.
all right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's
you know,
how I know you well. It's because
through
of Shayna.
Shayna.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this because I wrote it real pretty, and I want to
Okay.
make sure I say it right.
Lord,
So,
take your time.
part of development with the great culture with schools is developing leadership.
Mhm.
How does Kankakee School Districts deal with that, and what ways could there be improvement in creating leadership, not just within teachers but students as well?
So I really think we could do a lot more with developing leadership among our youth. Like I really think that, like for example, I think that we should have an election for class officers. I don't think we do it. At least I haven't seen it at the high school.
Okay.
Like all that whole process of supporting students leading the high school.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened and when we missed it, but somehow it's not the same as it was when I remember.
Okay.
First of all, when I was an assistant principal, and then when I was a student, I think all of that, campaigning and running for office and being in charge of some decisions, I think we need to bring that more. Like it's a little bit there. I mean, but it's not the way that I think it should be. I think youth should make more decisions in the community as a whole, but definitely at the high school.
That for sure in junior high was a big deal.
Yes.
Was that a big deal when
It
you were?
was. It was.
Yeah.
We definitely had a high school too. But then, like you were saying, the kids live here. They live here like us.
Yeah.
So they need to be in control of something.
Yeah, I think the problem with school is adultism. Just like there's racism,
Yeah.
there's sexism, there's adultism.
Can you explain that?
The adults think that they're more important than the kids.
Yeah.
Oof.
A lot of time though, like people they think kids like not at a lower level, because in certain instances we have to lead them, but
Mhm.
that don't mean they don't get the same as we get. And a
Yeah.
lot of people say to give respect, you got to give it, but older people take that and run with it.
Yes.
They don't use that for the kids.
Yeah.
And
I
think
can't
that's what
stand
it is.
that term
Yeah,
because that's not realistic.
it's crazy.
No.
When you first meet somebody, you give them a small amount of respect.
100%.
They grow it, or they leave it where it's at, or they get rid of it.
Oh, I like
There's
that.
no way that you can come up to somebody and say, I don't know you, you don't know me. There's no respect here. That makes no sense. When you meet somebody, no matter how timid you are, you can be introvert, extrovert, we all give a certain amount of respect.
But
Respect.
kids
To start
should get
out.
that too though.
That's
And
true.
kids should get it too.
don't get that. Kids
Yeah.
always get, for the most part, you a kid, so it's already a disadvantage
Yeah.
Right.
verbally, and I think kids don't need that.
I agree
That's
with
why
that,
they
especially
rebel.
nowadays.
Yeah.
They just don't need that.
So do you think it's more of a behind a podium, on a soapbox type talking to children, instead of being an interactive, innovative way to...
But I also think that, okay, so a teacher or an administrator or anybody, like
Mhm.
they don't do something and they don't do it on time and they expect a certain amount of grace.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see people
Kids don't
giving
get no
kids the
grace,
same
yeah.
level of grace that we give adults.
Right.
And I think that's wrong. I think that if I'm gonna give you some grace as an adult,
Mhm.
then you should give the kids the grace because they're kids.
It's like people forget they
Yeah.
used to be kids.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They get grown and just forget all that stuff.
Yes,
And then
yeah.
they treat kids like they crazy.
Smallest amount of time for your life, but the most influential.
But exactly. And then you need adults to nurture you and support you. And I'm not saying kids should get away with murder. There should be boundaries, there should be support, there should be direction. But I don't think you need to mistreat them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I also want to let you know you have a champion sitting on the right of you,
Oh,
Mr. Accelerated Reader.
oh yeah, I
He
was
like to-
accelerated reader Tim.
That's a big deal to
You
him.
like to read it?
Yeah. Miss Veranda used to be on my head.
Oh, you were in gifted.
No, I wasn't.
You
She was
weren't?
her first year. She taught at 5th grade at King, and
Okay.
I ain't read a book in her class. So then next year I had Miss Hernandez in 6th grade and read damn near all of them.
Alrighty now.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was my thing back then. Yeah. So,
What's your favorite book?
now, 5 love languages.
Okay. Okay.
It's a book called Do Cool Shit. I forgot the name of the author.
Okay.
And Muhammad Ali's autobiography.
Oh,
I
okay.
like to read those three.
Okay.
When I read.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm acting a fool on Facebook.
He is most definitely. He is most definitely. Sometimes I think there is confusion on what your role is
Mhm.
and what the school board role is.
Mhm.
The school board role is. So you report to the school board, correct?
I do.
Okay.
I'm their only employee.
So they deal with no one else but you.
They're not supposed to.
Let's have her on the show. She thought on herself. I didn't.
Oh man, we ain't bad TV.
I'm at work right now. Okay, I did not. So that means you're accountable for everything, regardless.
You know, ultimately, everything I'm accountable for, even if I don't know it happened.
Got it.
Yeah, so ultimately,
tough.
I'm in charge.
You're
Yeah.
the oldest kid, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm the oldest
You're the oldest
kid.
No
I'm
matter
the
if it's your
oldest.
fault or
You're
not.
dealing
Yeah,
with two
yeah,
olds.
yeah.
Let's stay in that.
Right.
So what decisions or what things are done by the school board? What powers do they have that people normally misconstrue and think you have?
So they hire a superintendent.
Okay.
They approve the budget, and then they ratify recommendations from administration. So we make a recommendation, and they either have to approve or disapprove our recommendations.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. Like, they don't do the hiring, they don't teach the kids, they don't decide on who teaches the kids and what classes are they
Right.
in. They only decide on the superintendent, the budget, and the vision and the direction of the district. They do approve that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're more, okay, got it. So they're more so budget and more so, yes, we like that idea. No, we don't like that idea.
Yes.
That's a good job. You wanna get on the board?
No, man, I think I'm good with it. It sounds good though. It sounds like it's a lot though. Like it sounds.
It, you know,
it sounds
actually,
like it's minor, but
it's
sounds like
not.
you do a whole
It's a
of
lot.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
a lot because there's a lot that goes into figuring out if you're going in the right direction. Are we spending the money on the right thing?
Right.
Like, you got to have a lot of information to really make a decision on what that looks like.
Speaking of, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
That's
speaking
okay.
of spending the right money on the right thing, a lot of people was talking crazy about this high school and these renovations.
Yes.
I just went to the high school about a couple weeks ago, and it ain't never looked like that
It looks
No.
amazing.
when I was there.
No.
Like, talk to us about that and just what made you come up with that idea and the backlash and just what made you just say, I got all that, I'm gonna just do this for these kids.
So, you know, I have a friend, Tyrone Norsworthy.
Cuz.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cuz.
That he actually said, like, he was messaging me, and he actually said, you know, that I just had like tunnel vision, or like when I don't know how people saw me in school,
Mhm.
but now that I'm older, I do realize that when I have an idea in my head, I do get a little tunnel vision and probably a little obsessed with the idea.
Okay.
And so I feel like the kids in Kankakee deserve the same opportunities that other kids have. And you go to schools in Indiana, you go to schools way up north, you see some amazing schools that look like college campuses.
Middle school.
yeah.
Yeah, just
school.
middle schools.
Have
Yeah.
you ever
Middle
been to
school.
Bolingbrook High School?
Oh,
Woo!
I mean, nice.
It is gorgeous.
So to me, when you see facilities and opportunities for kids, that's because the community has invested in their future.
Right.
Because the kids are our future. So when you come to Kankakee and, you know, for example, like, you know, the weeds are growing up all over the place, and that, to me, it's like, are you really investing in your children?
Right.
And so to me, renovating the high school is showing the kids that we're investing in you.
Mhm.
So it's disappointing when people start criticizing, because what they're criticizing is the need to invest in our future.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
that.
So do you think that the need to invest in our future outweighs what the community may think needs investing in? Because I'm pretty sure they had every other thing that they felt the money needed to go to.
But I don't know what they wanted the money to go to. Like nobody ever said, "Oh, we should do this, or we should do that, or we should do that." Like where did they? Like I personally felt when I read some of the things on Facebook, they just felt like our kids didn't deserve the money.
And like you said, they weren't saying exactly where.
They
were
weren't
just
giving any
critiquing
advice.
you.
They
Right,
weren't
there
giving
no
any
advice or
suggestions.
nothing. So what made you? My fault, bro.
No, keep going.
What
I
made
like
you
this.
go over that hump to say, forget what they saying? It's about these kids.
So I know a board member that said, "I don't care about nobody but the kids."
That's one of the biggest compliments you can get.
Right.
And you know what? I had to actually say, like, you know what? I think that's true. Like, I think that, like, my mission is to support children and help them grow. And either I'm going to stick to the mission or I'm going to do something different. So either I'm doing it for the kids or I'm doing it for the money. And I went into social work for the kids, and I just feel like if I don't do what I'm supposed to do with what my mission is, the money's gonna fall apart anyway. I'm gonna lose the money. And so I just feel like I have to do it my way. And my way is to focus on what's best for the students. That's my way. All the students, not just certain segment of the community, just all of our kids.
So do you think it'll be a point in time to where all of the schools could get renovated?
Well, I only have 2 years left.
Okay.
So,
I got you.
So I don't think that I can do it, but I would hope that what we've done today, we're not looking 30 and 50 years from now and nothing new has been done. Like that's my hope.
It's funny you say that. So I'm not old enough, I wish I was, to remember East Ridge and
Westview.
The craziest part is when I went to high school and both my parents showed up at the high school, man, this looked just like the school I went to.
Yeah.
This is identical to the school I went to. So it's really nice to hear that something got switched up.
Yeah.
You know,
Bro,
like
everything got switched up.
Everything.
Have you seen it?
So I've only seen it from the outside.
I'm gonna have to take you on a tour.
You gotta
I'm
go
all
in the
about that.
school, bro.
I gotta go back to school.
Fam, they got everything in the school.
Really?
Everything. They got a store in the school. You can just buy Kankakee stuff.
Really?
The
Yes,
cafeteria look like, bruh.
And you know what?
Bruh.
The story behind the
He
cafeteria
never gets
is.
excited.
Bruh, I'm telling you, I walked through there like 3 times. This ain't nothing. The only thing that looked the same was the swim hallway. That
Oh
little
yeah,
corner.
yeah,
But other than that, everything else different, bro. I love it.
yeah.
I love kids walking around there, joyous,
Yeah.
happy, just walking through the school. Kids they ain't want to stay at the school.
You ain't joking.
We
We trying to get
like
outside those
practicing.
doors.
We're doing those sports. You know what we gotta do it. We're going home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kids was just sitting in the cafeteria just kicking because it's a TV in there. You
Right.
can eat, kick, and relax.
There's
I
a
love
TV in
Yeah.
there.
Bro, I love it.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's
So,
nice. It's nice.
the other question I have for you, going with that, based off everything he just said,
We gotta go in there, bro.
so you said that no one gave great suggestions, no one gave a great direction to go towards.
Right.
How does someone get in contact with you to say these things?
Um,
What is the best way?
Good question, boy.
That's a good question.
That's a boy.
I mean, I do this.
Boy,
That's
you
why
did your
I'm the
homework
host
today, boy.
and you the star.
Boy.
You know what? I don't know. Like I probably should figure out a way that people can give suggestions.
Like a little hotline or something.
Yeah,
That's it.
or like a Google form or something, like where people can just say, "I would like to see this."
Mhm.
That's a really good idea. Like, cause we have money right now,
Yeah.
and so in the next couple years, we could say, like, we got some money. Yes, we do. So that's a good idea. Well, we have a community partnership grant. Maybe through the community partnership grant, we can start getting people to give us ideas of how they can, things that we can do, but things that they can help us do. Like,
Because
this-
I was gonna
This
say.
puts accountability on
Yeah,
everybody.
that's
Yeah.
what I was
It's
saying.
no longer you
I like
did
that
it
idea.
and everyone says, "Oh no, that was a bad idea." There's an open room to be able to talk and communicate to
I
say,
like that.
"Here's what I have. You may
I
not like
that.
it.
That's a
You
good
may not
idea.
use it, but here's what I have."
And
for you."
even if this is what
I
I
like
have, this is what I can do to help this. Just
I
don't
like
be blurting
it.
out a bunch of stuff and not gonna help do nothing.
Yeah, well, now I would say that's frustrating
It's easy
when
to
people can
judge.
criticize and they don't actually
They don't have to
contribute
do that.
anything. That's a
Right.
little frustrating. That's a little frustrating.
Okay.
So how do you get over that?
I
Because it's a lot of
ignore
that.
I don't pay attention to what adults say unless the adults are telling me something.
Okay.
That's what my board members are always telling me. So unless they're telling me something that's going to help kids, but if you're telling me something that has nothing to do with kids, it's not going to help kids, I just don't pay attention to it. I just don't pay attention to it.
Are there any other great services that Kankakee offers, the school district offers, that is overlooked or doesn't get enough shine?
So we have a youth empowerment program, and I am so incredibly proud of that program. It is actually, we started about a year and a half ago, and at this point it's its own department.
Oh, wow.
And so we have, we help with teen court through the state's attorney's office in terms of paying for teen court.
Mm-hmm.
We have a race car program. We have about 65 kids that are working in the community and at the school.
That's
They get
nice.
paid $15 an hour.
Okay.
And the thing that I love is when they look at their first paycheck and they say, "Who is the government? Like why they taking all my money?"
I don't get Social Security.
Yeah, like,
what?
So it's a good, like, I didn't even realize how much of a learning experience getting your first paycheck is.
Yeah.
So that's a youth empowerment program. There's like 15, is it 10 to 15 programs? We want to start a mini bike program. We're supposed to be buying mini bikes in the next couple of weeks, so that, you know, all of the chaos in the community about the mini bikes, we want to get a structured program together so the kids can ride the mini bikes without.
Speaking of the mini bike, shout out to Mr. Wilson.
Yes, he was. Were you in the mini bike program
For
too?
like 2 days.
Yeah. What
But I was
happened?
in there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Why? Shayna was in the mini bike
It
program.
wasn't for me. But shout out to Mr. Wilson.
Ah!
Because he had them boys moving.
And
Was
girls.
really? Girls too.
And
Yep,
girls.
too. Yep, had 'em in there.
And girl.
It wasn't my thing, but shout out to him for sure.
One thing I do also want to give Kankakee, I think Kankakee has a great bus system. There are a lot of school districts that extend out a large amount of area that a parent has to cover for their child to get to school. And I can honestly say, what is it, a mile and a half?
Mile
from
and a
school?
half. Yeah.
You know, that's for Kankakee to be as big as it is,
Yeah.
that's really good.
And
So-
actually, we even changed that a little bit. If you're in a neighborhood that you may not feel comfortable with your children walking to school, then we provide transportation, even if it's 3 blocks away.
Shout out to the
Yeah.
buses and the drivers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the aides.
Yeah.
All y'all.
Which
I know
they can
was,
use more.
They was
because there's a
first student
shortage.
at first though, wasn't they? Didn't they change their name?
It used to be first student. Long time ago, my father was a bus driver.
Okay.
A long time ago, it was rider.
I remember Ryder.
Yeah, you remember Ryder?
I'm old enough for Ryder.
Yeah.
He's a baby.
They probably just
His
changed
name.
their name.
Yeah. So yeah, my father was a bus driver. I don't think he could make it now.
No?
No.
Yeah, my
It's-
uncle drove too, so I
Yeah, he would get in trouble.
I don't think the fear of getting in trouble is a big thing anymore for children.
I'm talking about him.
Oh, your dad.
That's
That's
another
That's another
Yeah, he
show.
would, because he's not gonna put up with some of the
Right.
stuff that we have to
Right.
put up with now. Like he wouldn't put up with that.
So speaking of like with kids now, how do you adjust to the kids now? Because it's different.
I don't. So that's what I'm struggling with that because I don't really adjust. Like when I say I don't adjust, I'm not saying I don't adjust to the kids myself personally, but I really haven't had a problem with a lot of the kids. Like I haven't had. Okay, so you walk down the hallway, they do a lot of cursing, they do, and then I'll say, "Excuse me, that's too much." Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't had any kids that. There was one time that the girls were fighting, and the one girl was just going off. She stopped, turned around to me, said, "I'm sorry, Dr. Walter." I said, "Give me your phone." She gave me the phone. Ms. Fountain is in here in the room with me. You remember that?
Shout out to Ms. Fountain.
And she
Ms. Fountain.
in
the back.
We're trying to get on the camera.
Get on the camera.
and she literally stopped acting up, talked to me, and then started acting back up. And I don't know. I mean, maybe they just sense that I care about them because I don't have any problem with the kids. I know they're different, but I don't know that they're really that different.
So do you think that people or the adults who have the issues with kids, do you think the adults are the problem?
I think that we have a lot of kids that have experienced trauma, that have bad situations, but when you're having a lot of problems with the kids, I think it's adults' fault. Like some people just like my best friend, she can't work with no kids. Like she just can't do it.
Right.
And so you have to recognize when you're just not the kind of person that can work with kids.
Yeah.
And you just and don't force it because that's not fair to the kids.
Right.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
This
true.
is true.
That is true.
This is true.
So, speaking of teachers, it is said that there's a big decline
Yes.
when it comes to teachers in general.
Across the nation.
How is Kankakee dealing with that? And is that something that you're truly dealing with to a point where you have to change your staffing and how you work?
No, we didn't have to change anything
Okay.
because about 5 years ago with competency-based education, we had a waiver. and the waiver allows for us to hire people that aren't licensed.
Mm.
So, for example, in the culinary arts department, we have a chef.
Okay.
We at junior high, there's a math teacher that is actually a math instructor. We call them instructors. That's an accountant.
Okay.
Like we had a nurse teaching biology.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the junior high structure. I'm not the junior high, the KCC, the junior college structure.
Okay.
So if you have experience in that field, you can actually teach. So that has helped us a lot. So this is before the teacher shortage.
Got it.
Now that we have a teacher shortage, we have instructors that are teaching, like a chemist is teaching chemistry. We don't have a chemist,
Like
but
a
that's an
trade
example.
program.
Yes.
Right. If
Yes.
you have experience in the
Yes.
field.
If you have experience in the field or a bachelor's degree in that field, and we have about 60 of them.
You know where I'm going. So I got a DJ. He town
I didn't
famous.
do you was gonna go ahead.
How could he be a music teacher? He's got experience.
Actually,
Definitely
it
will.
depends on. It depends. Like so, for example, we want to hire a pianist, and as long as he can read sheet music, we will hire him. And I'm not sure that he has a bachelor's degree, but he has experience.
Okay.
Like he knows how to play, and he can read sheet music.
Okay.
We have been talking about setting up a studio for our kids. I think Gardner Prairie already has
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So we were talking about setting up a studio. So if you already know how to do that, yes, you could come in and be an instructor and get paid to do that.
Stop it.
Yeah.
So my job as the host is not only to make you look great, right?
Yeah.
But to make sure that I plug Thug,
Oh
my
God.
my co-host here,
Yes, sir.
excuse me, the star of the show. So at all times, I'm always looking out.
But
for
you could do communication.
Could
like
I?
you should actually. So here's one of the things I would love to
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
I love when
Our-
the hosts flip it back.
Yeah.
on you. Yeah, because you always be trying to get me. Bro.
Ah.
Yeah.
So I think that our athletes
Uh-huh.
need to learn how to, like, somebody put a microphone in their face, they can actually say something.
Mhm.
And so I have been asking Wilcox, the athletic director, to give them a communication class. Like, I really think they need it. So
Okay.
you could come and work with the athletes,
Okay.
especially the ones that are being highly recruited,
Bro,
and
just
teach
how
them what to
how
do
talk in front of the
when
camera.
somebody says, so how did you do today?
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? We got that, we're
Sir,
getting it
sir,
in, you know what I'm
sir.
saying? We got that, you know what I'm saying? Can't see all day, couldn't keep out to my people. We can't have them talking like that.
That's how you sounded on the first episode, but I ain't
You know what I'm
want to.
saying? We better now. 'Cause I got a coach on the left. So
Actually,
that'll
that's
be
a good
dope.
idea.
That'll be dope. for
That's
you
a
to
really
do
good
that. 'Cause you know how
idea
to
for
talk
you
to
to
people,
come.
bro. Look at
Do
you.
I?
Yeah, you glowing.
Yeah.
You look good.
That's because I had
Got
put
your
that
hair
cocoa butter
cut?
on. I did get it cut.
Got a little cut today.
So yesterday, last week on the other episode, that's our favorite. Yesterday, last week.
yesterday,
On the other episode, yeah, my hair wasn't that cut. It was kind of, when you got the superintendent, you got to
Yeah,
make
you
sure.
gotta
Yeah, the beard got a flare on the sides, right? You can't.
now that would be dope though. We'll definitely.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't know, and I am really serious. We were at, I don't remember where we were,
You talking
and a
about paying.
reporter came up to talk to one of my kids, and he was like blah 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 blah, blah. And I think they need to learn how to do that. They need to learn how to be able to speak on the spot.
I think you know what it all really comes down to. I don't think I'm a great. I don't think my communication is great. I think my customer service skills are amazing.
Oh, you
Right.
can teach them that too.
So I don't pay attention to the camera. I really focus on y'all,
Okay.
and I'm the whole time. Here you go.
What's he talking about? Here you go. My bad. Go ahead.
So sometimes I don't even know why we co-host because he likes to work my nerves. This was the nicest setup that it took for us to put together.
Yeah.
He usually argues with me
Bruh.
the entire setup. That's how he gets into, I'm gonna call it character. He just like to
Just
fight.
let her sit at her desk today.
Ah.
And explore all of this.
Right. So, COVID-19,
Mhm.
that had to be tough. I know that just my primary job, I work for a bank.
Okay.
So that was really hard for us with customers coming in and out
Okay.
and making sure we could service them, but at the same time take care of ourselves. How did the school district deal with COVID-19? In hindsight, do you think there was something you could do better? One more. And right now, it is still going on. Is there anything that parents can do to make it a little easier at the school so that it doesn't become a, she is a superintendent, sir. She can do all three. That's what she
How you
do.
cut off the superintendent?
It's my show.
You right, go ahead. You right, go ahead. Go ahead, my bad.
So let's start with what parents can do.
There we go.
There's two things that we need parents to do: get their kids to school when they're
Okay.
supposed to be there. And when I say, the reason I say when they're supposed to be there is because we still allow parents to choose remote,
Uh-huh.
which is that they're working from home most of the time.
Mhm.
Blended means they have a combination of coming into the building and working from home. or traditional, which is they're at school all day.
Okay.
So when they're supposed to be in school, get them to school and make sure they're doing their work. If the parents would do those two things, that would be huge. Just make them do their work and have them go to school. The biggest problem that we're having coming out of the pandemic is the kids aren't coming to school like they're supposed to.
And when
that's
you
a
say come to
parent
school,
issue.
you don't just mean physically in the building, like you said. It's the combo or the
Yes,
straight from
either
home.
they're
All three are-
online, they're doing their work, or they're in the building, depending on what the parents chose for them to do.
right. But all
Yeah.
three are having the issue of children actually showing up on time. So
And doing what they're supposed to
Got
do.
it.
So even if they're remote, they need to do their work.
Yeah.
But we're struggling with parents holding their students accountable for doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
That's the biggest issue. In terms of coming into the code, I thought we did a really good job.
Okay.
Kankakee was not closed for a whole year. We were closed for the 2 weeks that the governors closed the school down, and when June 3rd hit and they said that you could congregate in groups of 10, we had kids in school in groups of 10. We had kids learning from home. Like, our building was only completely closed for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
actually
that's
pretty.
it.
Yeah.
So I know the city of Chicago,
Oh,
they were closed down
and
a
the
long
south
time.
suburbs for a whole year.
Yeah, they were closed a
a whole
long
year.
time.
For a while too.
Yeah.
Down south when it first hit.
Driving through those
So-
streets when you didn't have to follow the school slow down 20 miles an hour, that was beautiful.
But
That's not good for the kids. So,
Right.
It wasn't. It
Right,
wasn't.
right.
It wasn't. So I don't think it was that bad. I think what we had a problem with is when we started coming out of it,
Mhm.
and the people that thought we should be full time were fighting with the people that thought we shouldn't go at all, and the people in the middle were fine, but the opposite ends were always fighting. Like, that was the problem. People pushing their own values on other people. That was the problem. But actually planning through the
Mhm.
pandemic, I thought we did a good job.
that is
I
amazing to
do.
hear.
That's love.
Yeah.
for
That's
sure.
amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Are your children in school?
They are.
Are they here in Kankakee?
My son goes here in Kankakee. My daughter is in St. Anne.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to get her out of there. Shout
What?
out to St. Anne, but my daughter ain't staying out there. She ain't.
He didn't take his medicine. That's okay. He'd be all right. He likes St. Anne.
But my boy,
St. Anne, he love
they
y'all.
cool,
He
they
watch.
cool, they alright, but I'm from Kankakee.
What
I'm one of
school?
the- She is at they got the K through 8.
What about your son?
My son is at Tab.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he's a
at Tab.
baby.
Yeah, he in there.
All
Everybody
right.
know him. Shout out to my boy Kane.
Ah,
Yeah,
what
the-
grade?
Kane is in the 3rd grade.
Okay, so he's in a science magnet?
Think so.
Yeah.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kane is going to be a loan shark
Man,
Is he?
because all he does is take his money.
I know that's right.
bruh, terrible.
So they have this thing.
Terrible.
They have this thing. His son is very competitive. So he always bets his father. But he never bets any of his own stuff. He bets his father's stuff.
Oh, that is
my money,
hilarious.
bro. Anytime we bet is my money. But that's how the kids do, though. That's how the kids do. So you just gotta pay it and just go from there.
Dad, I'm
It's
faster than you. I
hilarious.
could beat you in the race. If I win, you owe me $1,000.
Oh no.
I burn them. I double lap them. Can't beat me, what? My daughter too. They be on me, boy. Yeah, they cool, boy. He like it out there. He like Tab. He getting ready to transition to the middle school. I don't know which one he.
Kennedy. Isn't that your
Yeah,
science magnet?
yeah, Kennedy right over there. So
Yeah.
he thinking, how.
Well, you
kids
gonna
be, they
question the superintendent what the next school was?
be- No, because I don't know where they gonna be living at.
She was telling
Oh,
you.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what
She,
I'm
I'm
saying, just in
sorry.
case.
she was
Yeah.
telling you though.
I mean, he can go there. I
She
went
knows.
to King though.
Mm-mm.
I went to Kennedy.
That's what I'm talking about.
What?
It's too early to
What?
cut the
Cut
show.
the show off.
It's too early to cut the show. We didn't even ask about a personal
I know,
stuff.
right? I know, right? Speaking of personal stuff, don't give me that.
You want this?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to ask some questions?
He don't never ask.
You don't
ask
never
you
ask questions?
He don't ask questions. He don't, uh-oh.
I love the business portion. And
Okay.
the superintendent stuff, but we finna go and shift gears for a minute.
Oh.
Uh-oh. You may have to move it up and down. So while he's doing that, do you have children of your own?
I do
I'm
have
still
three.
on his questions.
I have
know that.
three. Yep, three.
Okay.
Shayna, Elias, and Lorenz.
And how old are they?
Ooh.
Shayna old.
Yeah, Shayna.
Don't. When you see me,
Shayna,
Shayna.
When
Wait
you
a
see
minute.
him, get him.
I gotta calculate this thing.
Uh-oh.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
Okay, so Shayna's young.
She's got to be about 36.
Yeah.
I'm very- we got stair steps.
Yeah, that's it.
Get him.
Lorenz was a oops.
Don't feel bad, Shayna. My mama don't know my name. She called me all her brothers. Then she called me all her sisters. Then she called me my siblings. Then she called me you. You good? Don't worry.
Oh, I
You
do,
know who you
I
are.
do this.
You
I
know
do
who
the
you come
same thing.
to hand her what's right next to her.
I do the
Kankakee mama
same
or
thing.
something.
Do you?
They all do that.
Yes.
Don't feel-
I'm the
You
only
got a lot
boy,
of-
and she still call me Erica, Martell,
You
come here.
I ain't man, none of them.
I do the same thing. The same thing.
Okay.
So
So I
yeah,
do-
3, and then Lorenz is the young, like clearly the youngest. He's 15. He'll be
Okay.
16 soon.
So you have a child in the school district that you
In the
take
school
control of.
district, he's a junior at the high
Ooh,
school.
Lorenz, don't mess up.
Shout out to Lorenz.
Oh.
It's crazy seeing
Lorenz
him
mess
now.
up all the time. He
Does
don't
he?
even care. I love his personality. He don't even care.
Really?
But he was like that though.
Does
he?
he?
Was little.
Oh
He was like
yeah.
that when he was little, little.
He don't even care.
Cause shout out to my boy Kenny Jones.
Little Kenny, that's
Yeah,
my boy. Grown
yeah.
We used to always
kid.
have Lorenz.
Yeah, he
when
had-
was doing
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
He was just carefree then, and to see him now growing. And
Oh
down
yeah.
there 6 something. I know he's bigger than us.
Yeah, he's happy about that because
So-
he wouldn't talk about height until he got taller than me, and now he
Yeah,
brags.
he up there. What is he officially now? Do you
I
know?
think he's 6 foot, but he seemed taller than that to
That's
me.
crazy, man.
Yeah, he seems a lot taller.
That's crazy how
So,
that works. Well,
yeah.
yeah. He look like a good kid. I see him on mine.
I
doing his
think he's a
thing.
good kid. But yeah, you can't say anything out the way because he might say something back.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
He speaks his mind.
100%.
That's okay. We just gotta find a profession for my
100%.
mans where you can speak your mind.
Or somebody to help
100%.
you when a camera in front of you.
Am I gonna have a DJ behind me with the music?
If she has.
Why these people keep passing joy and music around the home?
But that's what's good. So how do your kids influence you in what you do? Like what's the main thing that helps, that they give you to keep you going?
Well, first of all, I'm crazy about my kids.
Yeah.
And I think that what they give me is that I don't believe that they have to be me. Like they have to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be honest with you, my kids don't like school. So they did well in school, relatively well. I don't know about Shayna. Shayna was super smart, but she didn't like school at all.
Super intelligent.
Yeah, but
Shannon, get out of my face.
Yeah.
No, I was
Well,
intelligent too. But
she lost all her assignments somewhere in the house, and her grades weren't that great because she didn't know what assignments were.
So I
CBE
can't
would have
talk
been
either.
good for her.
Yeah.
Yes, because her grades were based on her ability to find her assignments in time to get them in.
Gotcha.
But in CBE, if she couldn't find her assignments, she could just do it over. Because she
Really?
could do it over. But in the old system, she didn't find her assignment, she would get a 0.
I'm also one of those children. So in high school, junior high, I didn't do homework. I was doing the homework when we walking in the class. Or I'm doing the homework while the teacher's teaching it. They've already said what our assignment was going to be. Yeah, I'm going to do it that way. Yeah, I was that kid. I got in a lot of trouble at home because where's your homework? Oh, I don't have no homework. Why don't you have no homework? Oh, I did it all at school. And you know, mothers don't normally hear, how you doing all at school? They didn't give you nothing to, well, they were teaching it, but I was doing it.
And then for 2, we couldn't bring books home like that back
Oh no,
then.
you know
That's
what, you
true.
couldn't, which I didn't understand that at all.
So how am I gonna do my homework without my
The
book,
books,
bro?
Yeah, and that's the
How?
truth. They wouldn't let you bring the books home.
How?
So they let us take the books home. That's that 05.
Because y'all was still in the books.
Ah.
We said the next year
We were
couldn't
writing
take
in the
them.
books.
Yeah, writing, taking them home.
Yeah.
Wasn't bringing them back.
Mhm.
So they said, no, we couldn't take none home. So we made sure we got it done after school, like he said. So I can go home and just.
Yeah, well, she would lose it like we didn't know where it was.
I
And
did
so,
that too.
yeah,
Come in the classroom like, can I get the homework from yesterday?
yeah.
There's no way you finna know. I know. Give me the.
Yeah.
Did you
Right
take? How did
now.
you? Yeah. Give me that.
My experience with kids, like I like school, but to have kids that are smart but don't like school, it makes you think about what school needs to really look like for a different
For
kid.
sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that
For
because
sure.
this generation of children, more so than, and I know everybody always says each generation is different. They're
Yeah.
different. They're different. But this generation of children truly don't seem to enjoy school. School is completely a task. At least in our generation, we were happy to hang out with our friends at school.
Yeah.
We didn't have the social media to keep in contact like that.
Right.
So we at least like to be
To be
around
there
our
so you
class.
can be with your friends.
Right. And then sometimes it'd be something cool that you learn. I mean, we like school, us two.
Right.
But what is do you have any type of ways, maybe something that can be initiated or a type of culture that can be brought in for children to?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that kids only have a certain amount of time that they can pay attention to you just lecturing.
Oh God.
I mean, so I had with my assistant superintendent, I had kids for 4 hours,
Okay.
and but I had it chunked. So I would give them what the expectation was, tell them what they could do with their phone, give them a certain amount of time to do it, and then keep moving. Like they're in groups, they're looking at a video, they're gonna get a break. Like you really have to design it so that it's in like maybe 15, 20-minute chunks. But
That's
if you're
smart.
lecturing for 45 minutes, I love it, but these kids don't like
They
that.
don't like
Like it is just not, they're not used to it. They're just not used to
That
it.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So
So they
speaking of,
they gotta be more creative.
this is true. Now with kids, I know kids can be great. Sometimes they can be not so great.
Yeah.
So how do you bring peace to yourself with kids, being a mom, being a superintendent, just being in Kankakee, just all that? What brings you peace?
So I have to work on the peace part
Okay.
because between everything that Lorenz has to do and being a superintendent, I really don't feel like I have anything that's mine that has nothing to do with him or work.
Gotcha.
But when you do something that you love, like I really love kids, and so when you do something that you really like to do, it doesn't really feel like a burden.
Like a burden, for
Yeah,
sure.
so I don't really feel like I'm burdened. In fact, I'm retiring in 2 years, but I know I'm gonna miss kids. I'm not gonna miss the politics.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm gonna miss the adults, but I am gonna miss the kids.
For sure.
Yeah, and I don't care how bad they are. I don't care how good they are. I really do like to see kids and see them grow and see them figure something out and me help them figure something out. I just really like to be there for kids.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I love the kids too.
Oh,
Shout out to the kids.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna shift it a little bit.
His children are actually co-hosts for our show.
Man.
Oh no,
They will
that is
randomly be,
nice.
Uh,
They will randomly have episodes just
do
Do
about
they
that.
they do?
They haven't done it yet. That's
Oh.
we're still starting.
We got mostly audio of them.
Oh,
I got a little commercial with them.
I like that.
I'm gonna have them on the show one day, so they're gonna be begging the whole show.
I
already
like
know.
that.
Yeah, we're gonna have them on here though.
I
I'm gonna hype
like
them up to mess with
that.
them,
You
too.
have to make sure you tell me when that one is. I want to
Oh,
watch
yeah.
that one.
Oh yeah.
I
And
have-
too, if you want to bring Lorenz on, we can do a special
All
with
Lorenz
y'all.
gonna sit there and do like
Yeah,
this.
man.
That's all. So
We're
I
trying
want
to
you to
make
know.
him talk a little bit.
I just want you to know.
Now you might be able to get him to talk though.
might
You
be.
might be able to, and you might be able to.
At the All In show, you're the first person who did. He say, "Oh, I'm gonna be nervous." Everybody says they're nervous. I'm the host. He the star. You just got to see
I
him
would
chill.
love to see
We
you
gonna
all
keep
try
it
to
going.
talk to
Man, bring him
Lorenz.
on.
Yeah.
Let us know when y'all free and we'll come set
Because
up.
he is a starting quarterback, so you all get
I
him.
seen him
Yeah.
sling that thing on Facebook.
Did you see that? Oh,
I seen
okay.
some pictures.
Ah.
I seen him on the book. I seen him. So yeah, just whenever he ready.
Okay, all right. I want to see if you can get him to talk.
We'll bring him in. We'll try to at least get him engaged. And,
So
Okay.
the purpose of the All In show, we were talking earlier before we started recording. The purpose of the All In show is not only to bring everybody together, but to show you that you can shine for what you do. There's a young gentleman. He's not young. He's my age, but Chris Clark. Chris
Oh
Clark sings.
yeah.
shout out to
Chris came
Clark.
on the show and said, "I don't have anything to offer," and the whole time, all we did was hype up Chris when he was on the show with other people. It was a music episode.
Okay.
Hype him up. Chris, you sing. What are you talking about? This is what you do.
Beautiful voice. Beautiful voice.
The superintendent said you got a beautiful,
Beautiful
voice.
voice.
Chris Clark.
Black
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mhm.
Ah.
I want you to sing an intro and an outro
So
for us.
speaking of Chris Clark, since he do music, we gonna talk music a little bit.
Okay, I'm not good with music.
That's
You
okay.
listen to music?
Only if it's on the radio.
Okay, so do you have a favorite artist or song?
Not really.
Never. No song.
Let me think.
Gotta be one song that you be
What is
like,
it? Was it Roland?
Kelly Rowland.
You didn't know I was gonna bump like this?
Can you give me a little preview of that?
Y'all didn't know I was gonna bump like this. So I have a friend that said that you should always have a walk-in song
Yeah.
when you're when you're going someplace that you might be nervous. That's my walk-in song.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that's one of your favorites of all time. Any era? Like, do you have a favorite era? Any type of genre of music? Do you like R&B, rap, country?
You know what I like? The only thing I don't like is I don't like hard. What is that called? Hard rock or
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal. I don't like that. I don't like that. But if I can hear a beat and I can, because I like to dance.
Okay.
So if I can hear a beat and I can hear the rhythm, then I like the music.
For sure.
So I don't have a really like one particular thing. I like the current music in terms of, because it's very creative. I just don't understand what they're saying.
For sure.
I have
And
no
that's
idea
well
what they're
said.
saying. Yeah,
That's well said.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just don't know what
okay.
they're saying.
It didn't stop. We're good to go.
We good to go.
Did you want to introduce our new camera lady? Did you want to?
She said no.
She said no. This your show. She
Shout
can't
out
tell
to the
you.
wife of the GOAT. The GOAT know who he is. Shout out to the GOAT. Yeah. I was at the GOAT house plenty of times. He knows. But speaking of names and words, what would be 5 descriptive words to describe you just as a person?
Relentless.
Why relentless?
They should, there's some people behind the camera that they like.
I want you to know this is about you. If you turn that camera around, we got to
right?
Yeah.
You can get up and turn that camera
I think we should show who's in the background.
Come on in.
I think that I'm relentless because if I have it in my head that it needs to be a certain way for kids, people aren't going to get me to do something different because of adults. So if an adult wants something for them, but I know what's best for kids is something different, I'm gonna go with what's best for kids. I'm relentless about that.
Okay.
And I know it sounds corny, but I am. I know I'm stubborn. I'm relentless. I'm stubborn. I think I'm innovative. I am creative. When I was growing up, I used to think that I have a brother and a sister that's super smart, like really, really smart. And so I never felt like I was as smart as them. And then I had a sister that she passed away that was super talented with art. And like really, she was 2 and 3 years old, drawing on the wall and looked like people. And I was like, I didn't understand why she didn't get a whooping, but they didn't. They just gave her some paper and a pencil.
That look kind of good.
Yeah.
Them young ones don't never get
Yeah,
like the rest
never
of
get
us.
in trouble. Okay. So, but I felt like I was pretty good at. I was not good at art, but I was pretty good at a lot of things. But I didn't feel like I had anything special. So, but now that I'm old, I realize that older. I realize that ideas just come up. Like I believe it's a gift from God. Ideas just come up. Like I can create, I can analyze, I can think quickly in terms of ideas, and I think that that's what I offer to the kids. Like I offer kids my vision and my ideas, and then I make them happen.
Okay.
But I'm not as smart as my brothers and sisters, but I do feel like I have a gift.
I have to disagree. You're a superintendent of a school.
Of the school. The whole school.
I would believe you're the first black woman to be the superintendent of.
Yeah, I am. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
You have a superpower. Stubborn is a superpower.
Oh yeah.
The ability
stubborn.
to say no
What's
over
I'm
and
stubborn.
over
What's your sign?
and over.
Sagittarius.
Okay.
That's
When's your birthday?
Sagittarius. November 25th.
25th. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna pray for you in that
Sag,
aspect.
okay.
We don't know
Ah!
this church is state, but we're gonna pray for the
My boy
Sagittarius.
Kane is Sag. Okay. Y'all own folks. Okay. For sure.
Yeah.
That's
so-
funny.
Good stuff.
Oh,
So you
I
said,
said 3, right?
Yep. You said
2 more.
relentless, stubborn, innovative, and 2.
You know what? I'm gonna have my people at the in the audience. Like what?
So
So
don't shout out
yeah,
a word
what
for
word
us. Just give
comes
a
to
word.
you?
Courageous.
Oh, courageous.
Why you say why courageous?
Because no matter what the situation is, even if it's fearful, she's going to do what's best for kids. No matter what lashback or she gets, it's going to be what's best for kids, no matter what anyone says about her. So she's courageous.
Oh,
That's
that's
beautiful,
so
for
beautiful. All right, board member.
Yeah. Yeah, board member.
But we can't say your name.
No, we're not-
Oh
I'm
my.
gonna say student-centered.
Oh,
Okay. No, why student centered?
For the very reasons that the assistant superintendent said, like if it's about the kids, that's what she wants to do, and she doesn't really care what anybody else says. If it's about the kids, she's gonna push it forward. So
yeah. Y'all gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
I do realize that I do need to work a little harder on the adults. Like it's not that I'm mean or anything.
When you say adults, are you saying teachers? Are you saying parents?
Co-workers?
I think it's administration. I don't think I actually have a pretty good relationship with most of the teachers.
That's good to hear.
We have a great relationship with the union, but the administrators struggle a little bit because you have to balance supporting teachers and holding them accountable. And often what happens with some leaders, and I'm not going to say just Kankakee, there is a little bit of fear, and then they blame the person above them.
Got it.
So
That passing
yeah.
of the buck. Everybody
Yeah.
has worked where it happens.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So with those 5 words, was there anybody who inspired you? Like, do you have any role models who helped you become who you are?
My sister Joya.
Shout
My
out to
sis-
Joya.
Yeah, Joya is I actually think that if it wasn't for Joya being born with a disability, I don't think I would be in education at all.
Really?
No, I don't think so. I think that I'm really a math, science kind of person, but my compassion for Joya actually I started watching like what was happening to kids in school
Right.
because of her.
Right.
So, like
beautiful.
I really think Joya is my inspiration. She get on my nerves. She always
What
telling me what
siblings
to
get on each other
do.
nerves? Shout out to my sisters and brothers.
But,
No, I'm the bossy one.
But yeah, I think Joya, and I'm trying, like Mary Jo Johnson was my first administrator. She was very compassionate. Al Brown, he was structured. You all had Al Brown, didn't you?
I believe
Mr.
so.
Brown?
Mr.
Mr.
Brown.
Brown?
Yeah, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, he ran that high school like clockwork.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Shout
He
out
really
to Mr.
did. He
Brown.
really did.
Yeah,
So all the administrators that were ever my supervisors, I learned a little bit from all of them.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. You got something for
No,
us?
I do. So every episode, every single one, we talk about the generational change and how it's affected. So how was your relationship with your mom, dad, parents? And in return, how does that affect your relationship with your children?
So it's interesting because you can ask like I have a brother that would say that the relationship with my father was terrible. My father was really mean. He was very critical. He would come in and we would just scatter. Like literally, we would just go hide. I actually am grateful for that because people don't scare me. I mean, like when you have a father that's really like people say he was great and he was wonderful, but they didn't live with him.
Right.
Like he was very strict, very harsh in some of the things he said. Like a lot of people were afraid of him. He didn't play. He was very direct. But by having him in my life, I really think that is part of the reason I'm a pretty good superintendent. Because, you know, people being aggressive and yelling at me and trying to intimidate me, that don't bother me. I had Red for a father. So that wasn't going to bother
Shout
me.
out to Red. Mr. Red. Sorry, shout out to Mr. Red.
I was sure about to hit you with this.
Not
in the school. Not in the school.
So, but my mother was really kind, at least in public. She was the one that did the whoopings. My father never actually. My mother was the disciplinarian. My father was not. I mean, it was enough for him to walk in the house. But my mother was compassionate. She went to church all the time. She expected us to go to Sunday school, and I think with the balance, it made me who I am. So they were born. My father was born in 1923. My mother was born in 1932, and I know there were other people that had younger parents. But I'm kind of grateful I had old school, very traditional parents.
Okay.
I actually like that because I think that helped me to be who I am. Now I'm not like them in terms of the way that I parent. Lorenz has a tattoo. My mother did not religiously believe in tattoos. Now I did struggle a little bit just because of the way my mother raised me. But I also believe that children should be who they are and should express themselves.
Right.
And I don't like his hair. Like he knows I don't like his hair. Like I told him Sunday we gonna comb it.
It's time.
But I also don't think that hair really makes who you are. Like wherever you decide your hair is gonna be, it's fine. I mean, it's not that big of a
but
deal.
I'm telling you, if I gotta lose my curls, what's that cave here?
You do have nice hair.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So, but
I see you.
Yeah. So I want Lorenz. Like Lorenz has boundaries. He has expectations. But I also want him to be who he is.
Yeah.
Like whoever God wants him to be, I want him to be that person. I don't want to make him something that he's not.
Right.
So,
for sure.
yeah.
We're definitely gonna try to open them up. Just tell them, come on on.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't know, like why me?
Why you?
Yeah.
Didn't we just the black woman
Yeah.
superintendent?
Really, we were just doing like, not random people, but just people that we felt like was doing something. And the more we talk to people, and the more regularly we talk to people, we just said, well, why not? Let's just reach out to anybody.
Oh, that's
So,
nice. I'm an
just said that-
anybody.
Yeah, I think you.
I'm an
I
anybody.
think it's
I
something big.
think you're a regular person.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm glad you said.
I love all of this.
Oh,
but
thank
be able
you.
to come to you, talk to you, and
Always.
was able to just send you a message, and you was like, yeah. Some people with titles, you can't do that. You
Yeah.
can't even talk to them. So
I know that I'm a little different. I mean, I'm a little unorthodox, but it's probably because that's really my mission is children. My mission is not money. My mission is not title. My mission is children. And God has blessed me for sticking with my mission. I really do believe that.
and I think with that, like being good people, like you know good people when you see
Oh,
them. You know my
absolutely.
mama, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that and the long
yours.
was like,
Oh, you do?
yeah,
And
You
yours.
know Miss Red.
And
That's
yours.
my mama.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
yours.
So we wanted to just do something positive. I'll show about positivity, showcasing yourself. If you want to talk to people who you normally don't talk to, so they can get a different view on you.
Yeah.
This is a different platform for it, where ain't nobody judging you and talking crazy. And you know, just somewhere where you can just be you, talk.
As soon as he told me, he said, "Hey." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Hey." I said, "Yeah." Look,
We in there.
you tell me what time
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
Yeah,
there.
you used to
You've
DJ.
always been
You
great.
used to DJ for me, and then you moved.
I'm back. I told you I'm everywhere. I'm back.
I should have known
I'm
that.
here.
I should have known that.
I'm
You a
here.
teacher now?
Yes, I'm in there. Yeah, but I'm here. So if y'all need me, just let me know.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. Anything you guys need from us, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem.
So what we do normally do as well is we give a shout out at the end of every show.
Okay.
So we're gonna let him go first because he got
Lord
last
have
time.
mercy.
He knew it was coming. We do it
No,
every
you
show.
you told me
Yesterday,
you was going
last week,
No,
you made me go first.
No, you said I'm going last.
I go first,
Go ahead.
but you went last time.
Shout out to the GOAT,
Who was the GOAT?
Juan Barrett. That's my shout out.
So Juan Verrett is the GOAT you were talking about earlier
Snitch.
when you said, yeah.
Snitch.
I snitch on my show.
Ah.
I ain't even looking at it.
Now I don't know who
I snitch
match
on my show.
Shout out to the GOAT. I never had plenty of sleepless, long nights at your residence rapping and making beats and being creative. And he definitely motivated me to be able to speak on camera and do music and do this stuff. So shout out to the GOAT. You on next.
Yay. Oh, then it's my turn?
Nope.
I'll go. Oh, he wants to
No,
Yeah.
you
can be
go.
last. I'll
Yeah,
go.
you go.
I want to give a shout out since we are with the superintendent. I want to give out a shout out to all of the teachers who will help influence me to be who I am.
You.
So that I don't exclude anybody, I'm going to not name anyone. But I also want to give a shout out to Mike Terrell. Mike Terrell was the janitor at Kennedy for a very long time.
For sure.
Mike was one of the few people in the school who did not have to be hands-on with children, and Mike influenced a lot of us. So you would get in trouble. I was never a problem child, but you get in trouble or you were having a bad day. Mike was the guy who would walk to you and say something. So for him to go out of his way to help a whole bunch of kids where he was, he didn't have to do that. I want to give a shout out to Mike.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
that's
Shout out
nice.
to Mr.
You
Terrell
making me
for
think
sure.
about Sydney, the janitor at Kankakee High School. I think it was Lawhorn or Longhorn.
That's cuz. Sade?
Really?
Is it
Sydney?
No, there must be a sister or cousin or something.
Yeah,
I
it
know
might
Sade
be.
Longhorn.
Okay.
Might
So
be.
he was a custodian at the high school,
Mhm.
and I was quiet. I didn't talk a lot in school, but he would talk to me every single day and ask me the craziest questions. And I'm like, if you put 2 cakes in the oven, are they gonna come out the same? And I would say, well, it would depend on the heating. Is it gonna heat the same way? And then he was doing it on purpose. I didn't realize it at first.
Same thing.
He just wanted me to say something, and then he would laugh at me.
Right.
So, because I would say something that he said, "Oh, people don't even say stuff like that." Oh, like
Every time, bro.
but I actually felt like he liked me, and I liked him, and so I'm gonna give a shout out to him, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Miss Fountain.
Yeah.
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 She's
I
my
like it.
assistant superintendent of HR, and I don't even know why she's still here because she lived way up there. But she has really been a blessing, and she has worked really hard beside me. Sometimes we work 7 days a week.
Okay.
And she's always there, and we're trying to figure stuff out and trying to get things organized. Even though we have people working against us sometimes, like we work around it for the sake of kids. Yeah.
I love it. Shout out Miss Fountain. Wherever you at.
Ah!
Wherever she at behind the camera.
Oh, yeah.
They can't see that blush. Well, we normally do something really silly. So the
Okay.
way we normally end our show is we cut the show. But before we do that, I want to tell you he had a whole segment about wrestling.
Cut it out, bro. Cut it out.